Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast and welcome to Star Player Spotlight. We are looking at all the star players available in Blood Bowl 2020, whether they're from the core rulebook, expanded in a Spike magazine, or available in the Almanac, like Bomber Dribblesnot here. So we're going to be having a look at the new Goblin Supreme Bombardier. We're going to take a look at what teams he can be in, we're going to take a look at the stats, the value, and alternative miniatures to getting him on the pitch. Okay, so let's have a look at the stats for Bomber Dribblesnot. This guy comes in at 50k, movement 6, strength 2, agility 3+, passing 3+. We're going to come back to that because that is absolutely massive. Armor value 8+, which is very standard for a goblin. Okay, so this dude is a goblin with 1 boosted passing stat. Okay, that's cool, that's great. Normal goblin, passing 4+. This goblin, passing 3+. He's as good a thrower as, you know, a nobility thrower, but without the pass skill. Skills-wise, accurate. So this guy, even though he has passed 3+, is throwing those bombs 1 to 3 squares on a 2+. 4, 5, 6 squares on a 3+, and then above that it gets bad at 5 and 6+. So this guy is actually better than we expected. We expected Bomber Dribblesnot to land at passing 4+, but with accurate. Okay, we expected him to be 1 better than a goblin. This dude is now technically 1.5 times better than a goblin bombardier, which is pretty massive at a bargain price of 50k. So what does he do? He is a bombardier. So this guy comes with accurate, bombardier, dodge, loner 4+, right stuff, secret weapon, and stunty. So stunty means that there's a bonus if your opponent is trying to deflect something that he passes. You know what? Trying to deflect a bomb is not always the best thing to do, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. It hasn't really come up in our games very often. Bombardier means he can throw bombs. That's why that passing stat is so flipping good. Now, we did a Theory Thursday looking at Bombardiers, Bombardier Basics, because we knew that Bomber Dribblesnot was coming in soon, so go have a look at that video. I'll try and put the card up here now so you can click it. It breaks down the statistics and the strategies, the stats and strats for playing with bombs on the Blood Bowl pitch. And the fact that this dude is passing 3+ with accurate is massive. Okay, it doesn't have pass, and with loner 4+, it absolutely inhibits the ability for you to reroll. But when you're throwing a bomb, only a 1 is bad for you. Technically, a wildly inaccurate is quite bad too, but you are 1 in 6 chance of this going wrong. Okay, that 1 in 6 never goes away. The fact you've got loner 4+ is not great, but it's a star player. That happens. And if you're playing Blood Bowl 2020 properly, you're probably going to end up with no rerolls anyway, because you've either bought not very many or you've already used them on turn 1 for loads of stuff that's gone wrong. I don't recommend doing that, but if you've been watching the Bonehead Championship, you'll know that it happens. So having that 2+ ability to put the bomb, you know, up to 3 squares away exactly where you want it to go is huge. And that 3+ for 1 extra, well, for 1 extra zone, so 4, 5, 6 squares, is brilliant. Okay, so normal goblin is going to be 4+, 5+ing those bombs, with inaccurate being fine, wildly inaccurate being bad. And this is the huge, massive, incredibly important thing about accurate. If you are throwing a quick pass, it is -0. If you are throwing a short pass, you reduce the die roll by 1. You are -1 to your modifier. If the roll for the throw goes to a 1 or less after modifiers, it becomes wildly inaccurate. Accurate adds +1 to your die roll. Throwing it at short range reduces 1 to your die roll. That puts you at 0, which means if you are throwing a quick pass, it is a 2+ exactly where you want it to go. If you are throwing a short plus, it is a 3+ exactly where you want it to go. On the roll of a 2, it scatters d8 3 times from your target square. On a 1, you blow up. So not only is this guy more accurate, but it's 2+, great stuff if you're throwing up to 6 squares. Now, it gets ropey beyond that, but actually his boosted passing ability means he's going to be throwing 2+, 3+, then what, 5+, 6+, is that right? Because it would be 3 to 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 5, 6, which is okay. The fact is that the accurate of +1 takes away and gets rid of that -1 for a short pass, which means you cannot throw a wildly inaccurate bomb unless you're in tackle zones. up to 6 squares, which is really good. Which means basically, unless you roll a 1, you're good to go. He can just keep hooning those bombs a short way along the pitch. 50k is bargain. 50k, this guy is the same price as a bribe for most of the teams that can take him. So if you're a Goblin team, if you're a Snotling team, and you're thinking, you know what, I want an extra bomber, bearing in mind you can only throw 1 bomb per turn. So having 2 bombers on the pitch at the same time, it is a bit redundant. So Bomber Dribblesnot gives you the opportunity to have another bomber, to line him up and have a better bomber, but that loner bit is definitely a bit of a nega trait, shall we say. Now this dude does come with a special power, which is called Kaboom. Okay, once per game, if an opposition player catches a bomb thrown by Bomber, you can choose to have it explode immediately rather than rolling to see if the player can throw it again. So normally when you're throwing a bomb, you're throwing to an empty square adjacent to a player. With Bomber Dribblesnot, you can just put the auto blow up switch on and chuck it straight at that War Dancer. Okay? If your War Dancer catches it, he blows up. If he doesn't catch it, he blows up. So this is actually massive, and this 50k ability, while being incredibly risky and very much unreliable, it's gonna work. This is gonna cause a pretty big flashbang of an event. It's gonna be a case of 2+, the bomb goes where I want it to go. Or, you know, let's say it's a 3+, it goes where I want it to go, and then it just explodes. So 2 out of 6 times, this guy is basically going to be able to automatically knock down a mighty blow anybody within 6 squares, unless they roll some sweet deflections. This is excellent. Bomber is sneaky awesome. You're going to have to know how to use him really well, but that Kaboom ability really does take away one of the vulnerabilities of throwing bombs around. They catch the bomb, they throw it right back. Not with Bomber. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the teams that Bomber Dribblesnot can be taken on, and it is quite it's a pretty sweet list. So Bomber Dribblesnot can be taken by Badlands Brawls and Underworld Challenge. So there are some teams that are twinned, but I've just lumped them in with one or the other. Badlands Brawl, Black Orcs. Black Orcs, who do get access to half-price bribes, can take a bribe, and this guy for 100k. That is pretty good. And actually, even if they've just got 50k left over for a league game, or they're 50k under in a tournament, and they're like, well, do I want the 12th Goblin? Do I want the 13th Goblin? Or do I just want to pick up a bomber? Well, you can just pick up a bomber now, and it definitely opens up the playbook quite a lot, actually. The great thing about Black Orcs is you've got a solid offensive line, okay? It is really quite impressive. Not even Jared Goff could get sacked behind that offensive line. Chaos Dwarves, again, another team with a really strong offensive line. So both those teams can just line up and just chuck bombs over the top of it. You're not in any hurry to score. You want your opponent to stay and come towards you. If you are kicking, if you are playing defense, you can spread your dudes out, make them come to you, and just take opportunity shots with this very accurate bomber. This is going to cause some serious turnovers. Goblins, then you get more bombers with cheap bribes as well. It's just fun for Goblins now. You can go Bomber, Fanatic, Fungus, and just play Goblin Secret Weapon Blood Bowl like we used to. And, good times. Ogres get this dude as well. What a great way to spend 50k of inducement in a league game or for a tournament. It gives you a whole extra dynamic. You just get to blow stuff up. That's wicked. Orcs, I can see using them every now and again. What we're kind of looking for is some kind of super ball carrier for the Badlands Brawls teams. We don't have him just yet. As in, we're thinking something like Scrapper Sawhead or something that, you know, is good at running the ball. For now, you can just chuck this guy in and throw stuff up. Snotlings, you've got 2 Fungus Flingers. This guy is a much superior passer to start with. The Fungus Flingers, though, taking running passer accurate, are very good too. So if you're playing in a tournament, actually, and you've got a couple of normal skills spare, and when it comes to running tier 3 teams, you tend to have plenty of skills. Actually, taking a Fungus Flinger and chucking accurate or running pass on them is going to do some stuff, probably for lower team value, but he's not bad. Then you get Skaven and Underworld. Now, both of those teams are glass cannon kind of teams, okay? Underworld, they've got the Roger, and Skaven's got the Roger sometimes as well. They've got Hackflem there to be offensive in a competitive format and a constructed Blood Bowl format as well. But actually, because it's 50k, Skaven and Underworld teams who will have inducements during a league and every now and again will have 50k spare for a tournament point of view, this again is going to add an extra bit of dynamic. Do you take the extra Skaven lineman for a Skaven team? or do you just chuck a bomber in? Do you take reroll number 4 for your tournament, or do you run leader instead and then have a bomber to do stuff? It's a really interesting one, and I don't think any of these teams are not interested. For 50k, it is equal to or less than a reroll for all of these teams, and there are going to be plenty of times where 50k is, do I take a keg or do I force my opponent to use theirs? So first of all, your option is to go to Forge World and buy the Bomber Dribblesnot model. It's not out yet, so we don't know how much Bomber's going to be and whether he comes with somebody else. There is a hope that Bomber Dribblesnot and Fungus the Loon will be in a twin pack for £24 or something. So for £25 you can pick them up. If you don't want to do that, and you're not running a Goblin team, what you can do is just pick up the Goblin Secret Weapon Pack from Forge World. It's 20-something pounds. You get a Fanatic, which is great for Fungus the Loon. You get a Bomber, which is great for Bomber Dribblesnot. And you get a Chainsaw, which hopefully one day will be great for Nobbler Blackwar. So you can pick up that 3-pack. They're great models. They're a bit fiddly. It's Forge World resin, but they're cool. They're great fun to paint up. So if you don't have those models, you can just pick up that 3-pack, and you're sorted for 2-star players, and you've got a cool chainsaw dude anyway. And everybody can take a chainsaw, so he can just be your Helmet Wolf. It's actually quite good. But if you don't want to do that, then there is actually, I have a model from a third party lined up. And it's not this one, that's a misclick, although this is an excellent model, but go watch Fungus the Loon video for that. This guy is called Brim Baboom, which is a Greebo miniatures game. So if you're looking for a star player, Greebo is an excellent place to go. They are quality models. They're transitioning to Greeblood, which is essentially a high quality 3D print. Really, really lovely stuff. And this dude is $7.99. He is currently out of stock at the moment, which is either, I think it's probably because they're transitioning from metal to Greeblood, but €8. Postage to UK is a bit of a tricky one, but actually just buy in bulk with some friends, or just accept the fact that this guy plus postage is still going to be less than one model from Forge World. But if you don't have Goblin Bombers, there's a ton of third-party models out there for you. I do just think the Forge World 3-pack of Goblin special weapons is probably the best way to go. It's a fun mix, but actually Bomber is a very cool model himself. So if you're up for a painting challenge, if you're doing something special for a tournament, actually just straight up picking up the Bomber Dribblesnot model is a quite cool way to go. Okay, so we've got a very cool star player in Bomber Dribblesnot and an absolute bargain price of 50k. I think this is excellent. This is definitely not going to break the game, but you're going to see him a lot, because this value for what you get, it just brings an extra bit of dynamic, and that's what star players should be in Blood Bowl. They should be, my team plays this way, and then I add this guy, and my team plays ever so slightly differently. It adds an element to the team that I'm missing without just ruffle stomping my team into another Hackflem clone. This is going to be Black Orcs, this is going to be Ogres, but it's Ogres with the additional little tiny Grenadier who's just going to be chilling out behind the big bruisers, blowing up other dudes. It's a great way to force turnovers, and in this meta that's quite heavy right now, I don't care what your strength is. If I roll a 4+, you're going down, and that is huge. So 50k for a turnover machine, absolutely love it. Disclaimer, Bomber Dribblesnot is going to blow himself up quite a lot, so be prepared to be disappointed. Anyway guys, I am going to wrap up this video. Let me know what you think of Bomber in this format. Let me know what teams you're excited to run him on. I'm starting brewing up some great rosters too, because this is actually really great. Really happy to see him back. Gonna fit in the format really well. A little bit of an equalizer, and I think that's always good. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy bombardiering. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to help support the channel even further, please like and subscribe, or come join us on our Patreon. We have early access to content, we get loads of feedback from you guys, and we try and do competitions as much as we can. Or you can get yourself some Bonehead podcast merch on our Spreadshirt site. So if you want to support a team, especially for the Bonehead Championship, you can pick up a shirt, a mug, things like that. It all helps support the channel, and we really appreciate it. Anyway, links below. Thank you very much. Happy blocking.